You'll shake your hand, you'll talk to them. You're judging their micro expressions the whole time. Not only their facial expressions, but do they lean forward? Do they pull back? Do they look around at other people? Are they engaged with you? If they're engaged with you, if they're smiling, if their jaws are dropped, if they're flushed, if their necks are flushed, this is all the heightened susceptibility that they're in for the experience.
Hello and welcome. I am Coach Castle, a certified biomechanics expert, nutritionalist, and efficiency coach. Subscribe to this channel to learn the most efficient ways to maximize your muscle growth and recovery, enhance your body, and advance your mind, all using the latest science. Welcome to Castle's Corner.
I can't speak for every hypnotherapist, but this is my general rule. I'm not going to take you on as a client unless I have at least a half an hour to 40-minute conversation with you. And that's really that. Number one, I'm already going to get a sense of, I don't just listen to the words. It's like being an artist. When you look at a picture, you see the positive spaces, you see the picture, but it's the negative spaces that are holding up the whole scene. So when I'm talking to you on the phone, I'm not looking at you. So I'm not seeing the picture. What I'm doing is listening to the spaces in between. And it's really important for me to let my clients know that I am a human being, that I do like to laugh, that I'm really comfortable, because by the time they come to me, then they'll already feel like they know me. And honestly, Castle, it just takes so much of the anxiety away. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like a couple of good jokes to let somebody just flip off their bra and sit in the chair and relax and be open. So Zoom has actually been a great boon to my business, which is something I didn't understand before, in that people can be comfortable in their own homes. They've got their kitties.
It's the same thing when I switched to online coaching, though. It was the same exact experience for me. I was like, well, you have to have a gym, you have to train in person. But then when it was online coaching, my message was getting across so clearly because the person was only sitting there looking at me, listening to me. Right. They understood everything. When it came time for the workouts, they were doing their workouts like in home. Most of the time they're in home doing their workouts. They're very comfortable. They're not being judged by everyone in the gym. Right. It's a very similar thing, Mm-hmm. So let's one thing back to the susceptibility, I wanted to ask you about this just because I don't know. You see the stage magicians, they go up on the stage. I wanted to know if it's the same process. So what happens once they call a volunteer to go on the stage? I imagine that the person that they're calling, I think it's a real person, you know what I mean? It's not a setup, but I know lots of times.
It's a real person. It's a real person.
Well, I know, but it's not an actor, you know what I mean? They're calling an actual person up. And so when they call the person up, my idea here is that the person is already in a state of high anxiety. And then what the magician tends to do is a common movement, like a handshake. And what happens is they'll shake their hand, which is normal, kind of, like automatic, but then they interrupt the process. They'll show the person their hand, or they'll do some bizarre movement to make it just snap them out of it. And then they'll give them a command, sleep, whatever. And it generally speaking works. Now, is that because they're in a state of heightened emotion and then they get taken out of it and twisted? I know I'm kind of simplifying it, but.
No, you're not really simplifying it. Actually, you're kind of making it a little bit more complicated.
Oh, okay.
So what happens is, all right, now imagine that you're on stage, right? And you're the hypnotist and you're looking out at people. So you start looking for what we call abreactions. And here's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone leaning forward. You're looking for someone looking up. You're looking for their eyes shining. You're looking for their jaw dropping just a little bit. This is where you see that they are extremely susceptible to hypnosis. So you pick those people. You say you, and you. So you get up on stage with them, and then you go through what you just said. You'll shake your hand, you'll talk to them. You're judging their micro expressions the whole time. Not only their facial expressions, but do they lean forward? Do they pull back? Do they look around at other people? Are they engaged with you? If they're engaged with you, if they're smiling, if their jaws are dropped, if they're flushed, if their necks are flushed, this is all the heightened susceptibility that they're in for the experience, and that they're going to be, it's not fake. They are hypnotized, but they're there for that. They're down with the experience no matter what. So he'll go down the line and you'll see people say, okay, you go sit back down. You go sit back down. He's
Mhm.
judging all of these micro
So that's how they do it. The judges.
Right, exactly. So the people that are left on the stage have all of the qualifying micro expressions. They have the flush on the neck. They have the flush on the cheeks. Their eyes are moist and shiny. Their jaws are dropped. They're leaning forward. There are other, micro expressions that you look for as well, but those are the main ones.
Just out of curiosity, I don't even know where this came from. I can't remember where I saw it. I think it was like the X Factor. I don't know if you probably did. Somebody sent it to you. Somebody had a trained dog on stage with them. They said would hypnotize people. The dog would hypnotize people.
I never saw that.
I was so curious. I just assumed you'd seen it. I'll see if I can dig it up and send it to you, because
send it to me.
I imagine it's not the dog, but it's just, I remember watching it and nobody moved except the dog. So I was like, is the dog actually doing this?
This again is the power of belief.
Mm.
If you believe that something's going to happen, if you want something to happen, if you're engaged in that, the probability that it's going to happen shoots up 80 or 90%. And that's also perception.
Mhm.
Whether or not the dog can really hypnotize anyone is something we may not know for a long time unless somebody does an in-depth study on it. But if you believe that it happened, then that's your perception. This is where you live. It happened.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I'll say a lot of times, you and I and Kathy could be walking down the street together, right, in our park. That used to be mine and Kathy's park before it became your and Kathy's park. Right? Okay, and you've got on blue glasses. I've got on red glasses. She's got on green glasses. Each one of us would swear up and down that the world was that color.
Oh, of course.
Because that's our experience.
Mhm.
And this is what hypnosis does.
Mhm.
It allows you to have that experience. A lot of times people will say, how can you know if what your client is telling you is the truth? How can you know if you're working with trauma that the story they're telling you under hypnosis is what really happened? How do you know if you're doing a past life regression, if that's what really happened? And my answer is you don't know. But this is their story, and this is how it's affecting them. If this is the story and it's causing them distress, then I have to follow the client and go to the root of that distress, where the story originated. And that's where we work from. It's never my job to judge anyone.